Hello, my name is Ryan Tucker. I'm an attorney with Alliance Defending Freedom. Over the next few minutes, I want to talk with you about an important legal doctrine known as church autonomy, what it is, what it covers, and why it's important to our society. The First Amendment makes it clear that our system of government fundamentally protects the religious freedom of individuals and their places of worship. And one of those protections is the legal doctrine of church autonomy. So what exactly is church autonomy? Church autonomy is the legal term describing the Constitution's safeguards against governmental intrusion into religious organizations' internal affairs. Over the years, the church autonomy doctrine has been expanded, refined, and clarified in four key areas. Areas where the government has no right to interfere. These include issues of doctrine, determination of church polity, relationships with ministers, and affiliation with church members. It's important for you as a church leader to understand your rights. So let's briefly discuss each of these four areas, starting with doctrinal issues. It's important to know that churches can determine for themselves what they believe and how their doctrine is formulated and applied. The government simply can't insert itself into these matters. America's founders intentionally created a system of government that prevents government officials from entangling themselves in ecclesiastical matters, such as doctrinal disputes. These are always left for churches to determine for themselves. Church autonomy also covers decisions about church polity. This simply means churches can establish their own form of institutional governance and the type of organizational structure they'll embrace. The government is absolutely prohibited from imposing its will in this area. The third area that church autonomy doctrine protects is a church's selection, credentialing, promotion, discipline, and conditions for appointing ministers, a term that legally means all teachers and leaders of the faith. Churches have the right to not only hire or fire their own ministers, but also determine the employment policies that their ministers must abide by. And this is done without interference from the government. There's a solid legal doctrine upholding this right known as the ministerial exception. It gives churches and other religious organizations the freedom to determine their own hiring practices for all employees who are quote-unquote ministers or teachers of the faith. At ADF, we will continue working to protect the rights of churches and religious organizations to hire people who live consistently with your religious beliefs. Finally, the church autonomy doctrine prevents the government from dictating what membership in a church looks like, along with preventing the government from involving itself in disputes or discipline between church members and church leaders. Church autonomy provides the space for churches to function independently in these areas, and the government is not allowed to intrude. As you can see, church autonomy is vitally important because it secures freedom for churches to define for themselves what they believe, how they'll be organized, who they hire, and how to best engage with their congregations. Ultimately, freedom in these matters gives churches and the gospel they promote and preach a chance to thrive and transform lives, and that's something every church leader can get behind. Now, before closing, I want to share a best legal practice for your church to consider. While your church's ecclesiastical autonomy isn't dependent on legal documents, such as your bylaws, constitution, employment documents, facility use policy, and others, having properly prepared documents can strengthen your church's religious liberty protections. Well-written governing documents that are consistently applied will help provide legal protection by clarifying your church's sincerely held beliefs on important matters. If you or your church has questions about its autonomy, governing documents, or First Amendment rights in general, you can obtain access to helpful resources and legal counsel through ADF Church Alliance, an affordable legal membership program Alliance Defending Freedom created to serve churches. Go to adfchurchalliance.org to learn more. I hope this information has advanced your understanding of the value of church autonomy and your rights as a church leader. May God bless you, your work, and your congregation.